Stealing Stories. Did you steal my story?
So funny when like I meet like the Degrassi people, because it's all like, it's kind of like the way that everyone talks about it is like going to the same high school. It's like,
really
oh
was,
yeah, I
though.
know Jordan. We had
Yeah.
like everyone, but like no one is the same age, or no one was ever in the same room at the same time. But somehow everyone always knows each other.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, like, you kind of meet each other even in just, like, passing of, like, because there are, like, or there were, when the show was still on, like, get-togethers and stuff like that, where you would just meet somebody, even if, like, I was never on at the same time as, like, Aaron and Spencer and Sarah and, like...
Because they were, like, kids.
Yeah, they were, like, literal... I had been off the show, I feel, for, like, 5 years at that point.
Oh, I also know Eric Osborne.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Any of the last generation, I think. Of
yeah.
Did you ever audition for it?
No.
I auditioned for
wasn't
it once.
like an actress at the time.
Oh, you weren't?
No. Like, I like graduated high school and then immediately moved. We're not... Are we filming?
This is on. We're on.
We're filming right now?
live. We'll
Oh,
cut it if you
fuck.
want.
Good thing you were like, you're not about to be... You knew who I hate from Degrassi?
No! I don't know anyone. No, when I graduated high school, I like just got jobs and then like moved to America. So like I never... And then I moved to Toronto when I was like 20, 21.
Oh, really?
So by the time I was back, Degrassi was done.
Missed out.
Well,
I mean, listen, I'm here now, so somehow...
Yeah, I know.
somehow I
You
skipped-
still
is
snuck your way.
essentially
Yeah, this is Degrassi.
Hey, this is the official Degrassi podcast, for sure.
oh
perfect.
my gosh,
I'm
don't
so...
say that. I feel like they're going to come after
We'll
me.
call Kevin Alves, Devin Dakota, Aaron Kazan, Spencer McPherson.
I didn't
Whoa.
know the first two names, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Was that
Well,
after?
I don't know. I don't know how many episodes they were in. I don't know who did what on the show. I just know people who... That's a credit on the resume.
That's a credit. This is a credit. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I should have more people on from Degrassi. I've only had like Lyle and Olivia, and that's it.
No, and you're Jordy. She
Oh,
came
and
on with
Jordy,
us.
of course. She was my very first, which you may not know because I guess they don't really hang out with. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm
It's
not
just
gonna
like
go into
real
full
high school. There's
tangent.
all the
And I'm like,
cliques.
they were in another grade.
Literally.
Did you become an actor later? You didn't know you wanted to be?
I like my whole life story of like how I ended up in this chair has taken like so many turns. When I was like, basically what happened was I was like, I'm trying to like find like the correct words to like explain my situation.
I do love the idea of saying like how I ended up in this chair. Here's the story. I feel like you're like someone even on the electric chair being like, how I ended up here? Quite the story.
I love capital punishment. No, I don't. Basically, when I was a teenager, I was like scene queen Tumblr,
Oh my
like when you think of like what Jeffree Star
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, but this was like before, like Don't Ask
I
Hotel
wanted
was
to be
in
scene queen
place.
so bad.
Yeah, like that was like I was like Mrs. Warp Tour,
Oh
like
my
wore
gosh.
heels to
Yeah.
school, like
Amazing. Yeah,
like Marilyn Manson, but pretty.
Right.
Cute.
Like that was my whole thing. And so I was like not like famous or anything on Tumblr, but like there was a bit of traction on Tumblr because of how I looked as like a 14-year-old. Anyways, some guy from HBO reached out, was like, can we put this thing of you in a movie? And I was like, great. And then I was all like, oh, I'm in a movie like on HBO. Like it's so hard being me. Like I've made it. It's so weird.
Oh my god.
And then from there I did, my cousin like was testing out filmmaking, and so like I did like a short with him, and this was all when I was still in high school. And that kind of was this like, oh, like I'm an actor now. Like look at me,
there.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
I've done all you could do.
Yeah.
And so I didn't necessarily fully understand what I was doing, but I knew that I like wanted to go to LA and I wanted to be in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to LA and took an acting class, which is how I met a lot of my friends that I still have now. And I think from that into like even with Ezra or Ghosting, where it's like I've made the shows, like nobody gave me that, I did it myself. But it was just like this pipeline of, I don't know, like I wouldn't know, I can't confidently sit here and be like I'm an actor, because I don't feel like that's, because there's like people that like spend their lives on this is my craft, this is my art, this is my
Yeah, but you're on a show and you're
talent.
acting, so you're not.
Yes,
I
but-
also like that like Luke's career is better than mine, and it's like I'm one of those people who spend my life dedicating, and you're just like, I
Me
wouldn't say I'm an
too.
actor, and you have
But-
two shows you've created.
But no, because I think that it's important to acknowledge, like, I think people can do many things, but I would say like there's people who this is their like lifeblood. Like if I never acted again, I wouldn't. Well, I'd probably be like, but I wouldn't be able to like not survive. Where I think some people, whether it's a job or not, it's just a part of who they are. So I never want to like minimize that for them. But listen, I love acting. I love entertaining. Here to act my way through a bag.
Yep, there you go.
How's your Tumblr page today?
Non-existent.
Oh,
I hope.
Quickly going home and Google everything. Just like delete.
It's like American Horror Story reposts and like evil.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Or if you ever see, I don't know if you two had Facebook, but if you ever look at like, because it says like on this day 12 years ago, and you see the status and you're like, who is this person?
I love looking at my Facebook status.
I hate them. I'm like, I think I saw one the other day. It was like, well, my life sucks. What's up with everyone else?
Oh my God.
But that was so real.
That was so,
No, but literally on my way here, I was like on my phone and opened Facebook and I clicked it. And my Facebook status today, which was in 2012, was I'm a demon in angel skin.
Nothing has changed.
And I was like, this is what, do you know what I mean? When I said like Pretty Marilyn Manson, it was like, it's that encapsulation.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, like it's just has to be a trendsetter, but somebody has to.
Somebody has to do it. The rest of us can follow along.
Just goth makeup and vibes.
Yeah, and like taking the picture from like up here.
It worked for me.
Oh, and that's it. I tried to do, the short on top with like the long.
Oh, yeah.
So bad. So bad.
No,
doesn't work out with curly hair, in case anybody was wondering.
But you tried, and that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
And I got in a lot of trouble for that. Sorry, Mom. You were right, okay?
It grew back.
Yeah, throwback.
I used to straighten my hair for a brief period in like when the emo in like grade 12. And there's some grad photos that are probably not my best look, but they're there. They exist.
I feel like that could work within your vibe, though.
I feel like, there's a way, right?
Know what I mean?
The OC was on. And I feel like it was like a half surfer, half like emo thing. I don't know.
And I feel like today I could get half surfer, half emo for your...
It's still in my blood. It's just sad surfer, though. Still saying stoked, but I just have sadder eyes now. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, good to know. It's still in my soul. Like that. Yeah.
I buy it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Steele My Story, the podcast where we bring on a guest to tell one true story and one stolen story. I'm your host, Alexa Steele. Haha, get it? It's my last name. This is my co-host, Ian Fisher, and we have a very special guest with us today, Luke Hutchie. Thank you so much for coming on. You may recognize Luke from Ezra and his new CBC show, Ghosting. Can you tell us a little more about it?
Oh my God, that was iconic.
You nailed that.
I was like rehearsing that before you came.
That's why you're a professional actor. That's why you're the real deal.
There you go. You didn't see all the back behind the scenes when I'm like stumbling over my words.
No, that was incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to yip and yap.
And just this and yapping.
Yeah.
We all love to yap here.
Luke and I know each other because I did a little episode of Ezra and Luke actually murdered me on the show. So I think this is the first person to be on the podcast who has murdered one of us.
Oh my gosh, wait, I remember that because I remember you, I think, auditioning for that or something.
Yeah, I think and you probably did the self-tape with me.
You were like supposed to be like a douchey kind of Jake Paul.
Yeah, kind of like a Bieber-y, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, like a just like shitty pop star?
White rapper, shitty, problematic.
Yeah. I do remember that.
I love that this is happening.
That's what I booked. Just being like, you got sad eyes, emo surfer, and you're a problematic rapper.
Well, that's, we saw your tape and we said, a star is born.
This piece of shit has to come on set.
No one else but you.
Yeah, biggest piece of shit in the city.
Yeah, I just remember when we were filming that and I had all the blood in my mouth and I was like salivating over everything. And I was trying to like get away from you and then we would have to like it was just all of the prosthetics and the blood and I was like,
my gosh.
I felt so bad for him.
The blood capsules or no?
No, it was because there was like fake teeth in, so like you couldn't like properly control like the dryness of your mouth or saliva because you couldn't fully swallow.
Yeah.
And then there was like the shots of blood, but then I was leaning on top of him where like you couldn't swallow the blood, obviously. So I was trying to be like trying to not. Oh my God!
It's like when you're really drunk and you don't want to puke, but you're just like yours is just covered in blood, so you don't puke on this actor. Who I'm just trying not to breathe the whole time, to be honest.
You crushed it.
I had it easy.
For anybody listening and is maybe confused about what we're talking about, if you haven't seen Ezra, it is about a vampire played by Luke Hutchie and created by Luke as well. He's a vampire, and that's why he's blood all over his mouth.
You didn't explain that. Good call.
Did I not explain
No,
that
we didn't at all.
I was like, maybe nobody knows what we're talking about.
But no, you summed it up.
Did I sum that up?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you actually tell us a little bit more about Ezra and like how you kind of created and the character and the show?
I was on a religious... No, I wasn't. Okay.
I would have been like 100%. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Basically, like... one day I was just during the lockdown I had started writing and I had this one show that I was like, oh my God, like it's gonna go. And this network was like really interested in it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like why is people are like, I can't sell my script.
God.
And I'm like, this is so easy.
I'm the guy who can't sell a script.
Well, this didn't work out and went horribly wrong.
Okay,
and everybody was like, you are irrelevant, go jump off a bridge. But while I was waiting for that show to obviously get greenlit, because I was like, this is so amazing, who would ever say no? I was just like sitting in my apartment one day, like on my little couch, and I was like, wouldn't it be, it wasn't really even like, wouldn't it be, but it was more like the idea of like, guy thinks he's getting his dick sucked, ends up dying. I don't know why that did anything for me in my mind. It wasn't new. It wasn't like this new concept. It was just like this spin of like, the thing you're supposed to be afraid of is a very flamboyant monster. Yeah. That like you want to be friends with it almost. Like, but there's something so scary about it. So you're kind of on the thing of like, I want to be friends with you, but like stay away from me. And so I kind of just like wrote that scene out, which was the opening scene of the pilot, which was Ezra kind of he's with a straight guy, and you know, he's like, oh, I'll keep your secret, whatever. And he goes to suck his dick. And then obviously Ezra kills him. And that one scene, that was it. That was all I had written. And then I was like, oh my God, whatever. And then someone from the network that ended up saying no to me later was like, oh, you should talk to these other people. So then I talked to these other people. And then I talked to LTV. And then they were like, well, do you have anything? And I was like, I have this like little like one, like the scene that like, that's it. That's all I have.
That's all I've got.
And then they were like, okay. And then I sent it to them. And then I wrote the entire pilot out after. Like I sent them the scene, wrote the pilot out. And they were like, we love this. We love the concept. We love the characters. It's like a very clear voice. Wow. Because of the fact that it was just so weird. Yeah. And it was just, the rest is history.
Rest is history.
But essentially, the storyline is that Ezra was like, I want to go to Earth because I love keeping up with the Kardashians and I just want to like be a part of the modern world. But essentially, he goes to the human world because he wants to not be trapped in hell and like wants to have love and wants to have a normal life, essentially. But then when he goes to the human world, he's breaking a 300-year-old treaty that vampires cannot be on human soil, otherwise they will resume the war and everybody will die. So the Queen of Hell has to get him back before the vampire hunters figure out that he's on human land while he's just like drinking iced coffee and vibing, not trying to cause harm. But accidentally almost resumes a war.
Fun. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. I did not know that overarching story. I thought it was just like kind of him like vibing every day.
No, it is such a big arcing Sofia Coppola. I'm joking. I don't know if that was fully translated super well in that version or that season, but definitely towards the last couple episodes, we really drive that home. But it was, again, the way the show came to be was like, originally it was like 6 episodes, then it was 8 episodes, and then it was 10 episodes. And so like we were trying to get through a storyline that would end, but kept having to add more to it as more people got involved. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, holy crap. I was like, this was a scene.
This is just a blowjob scene of some fan fiction I was writing during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where can people stream it now? Can they still see it?
Yeah, you can watch it on OutTV.
OutTV.
And there are OutTV channels, which I think are available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime.
And did ghosting kind of like branch off from Ezra? Like, was it like inspired by, or did it have to do anything with Ezra or no?
Kind of.
Okay.
So what happened with ghosting? Well, I think we need to go back into a bigger conversation. Okay. Ooh. And I think this is a political conversation.
This is the show for that.
Yes. So for those, where am I supposed to look?
Yeah, that's your
Yeah,
camera
you
right
can
there.
look
For
right.
those watching who are not actors, in Canada we have a thing called Actra, and it's an acting union.
SAG in the US.
Same thing, but SAG, Actra, okay, whatever. Okay. Actra does, because of Canada, whatever, Actra has its own little jurisdiction. But one of the things that they feel passionate about is the way that actors tend to promote themselves. I don't necessarily know if they understand what that means. So Actra members are not allowed to be like guest judges on RuPaul's Drag Race Canada. They cannot do anything like that because from their weird wording, it's like you are performing as yourself, or you're performing as an actor, not yourself. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing. This is the only show in the country that allows anyone an actual way to get exposure or promote themselves on a global scale that people actually watch. Like, with Peace and Love, they make so many shows here, but no one is going to disagree that like RuPaul's Drag Race Canada or Canada's Drag Race is not a globally recognized franchise of one of the biggest unscripted shows. And if you look at, you know, the British version of Drag Race or the Australian, or pick a country, it's always actors from that country. It's always people from that country going on to promoting themselves. But Actra, for whatever reason, is the only union in the world of this franchise in any country, take your pick, that is like, no, you cannot. And I don't agree with that, because I think it's important to have a platform to promote yourself.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's way behind, because I remember even when we were doing a comedy web series years ago, just for YouTube. I had friends of mine, other actors, who I'm like, hey, do you want to come do a guest star on this YouTube series we have? And they're like, oh, I can't do YouTube. It's new media and there's no actor contract. And I was like, what? And it's like, no, there's no money. No one's getting paid. Like, we're just making this. Like, I don't think I can. It would be technically non-union. I'm like, this is insane that like actors are like who you want, who are talented, are too scared to be in YouTube videos, which exactly could promote their career. Like,
but it's even like, it's one thing to even like talk about acting in any capacity, but for me to ask to be sat down in a chair, to give you an opinion of someone's dress that will be seen by millions, where someone goes, this is Bob from Bob's Burgers. And you know that at least half a million people are going to see it. They'll be like, oh, maybe I should check out that person.
So you were asked to be one of the judges.
I can't comment on any of that.
But this is all speculative.
What I can comment on is there was a very clear conversation with, and it was the same reason Amanda Brugel was kicked off as a judge. And so, anyways, all of this aside, this was like my magnum opus of like, I was like, there is literally no actual avenue that is set up in this country to market people with emerging careers in a way that is going to hopefully move them forward in something that isn't a televised aspect. Like, no one is watching reruns of E-Talk. Peace and love E-Talk. But no one is sitting, you know what I mean? Like, it's not...
I know.
Drag Race is one of those shows, or you look at any of these other like celebrity appearance things, that it helps promote them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was like... And in all Canada, it has like a serious marketing problem where like all the resources there, but everybody for some reason acts like it's not there. And I'm like, you don't need like, anyways, I digress. Ghosting.
Hot topic.
No, that's amazing. So that's kind of how it came to be, where you started thinking like, could there be an avenue for Actra members to actually promote as themselves?
Well, I was like, could there be an avenue for anyone to promote themselves in some sort of
that's funny. That's
way.
kind of like partially why or like one of the inspirations for this as well, is because I was like, I wanted to do more for like the acting community, and like for like people to be seen outside of whatever show if they are on a show.
Yeah, because it just does not exist.
Yeah.
And get to know their real selves a little bit, or like a different side of them. If you've only seen someone as their characters or something, you might not know. Like, just spend an hour with them hanging out on a podcast or
and it was just like, so exactly. So what ended up happening is, so now that my 20-minute spiel is over, in Ezra,
I should mention, Luke, sorry, we are sponsored by Actra today. Thank you to the Actors Union of Canada.
Listen, I want to be clear. I have no issues with Actra and the way that they perform duties around acting and
getting paid on set and the protecting. Of course. No, totally. It makes sense. You want, like, it just needs to be modernized, like, to the point where I know what you're saying. It doesn't to me sound like you're a member of the union. So you can voice your opinion and that'll make the union better.
And this is not new information. I've had several conversations with them, but I do think they don't allow people to expand their careers accurately. I think they are so pigeonholed of trying to just do what they have to do. But I do think that there was a very large hole of like, how can I keep promoting myself in Canada without having to leave the country?
Yeah. That is
And
the irony.
that's-
Like, Canadians move down to LA, become these giant stars. And it's like, even Jim Carrey talked about it, who couldn't get an audition here. It's like, there must be a problem if our system isn't working to the point where all these people have to leave to have a career.
Yeah, it's that. So anyways, Ezra happens. We're back. We're going back in time. So I cast an actor named Matthew Finlan on Ezra. That's how I meet him. He auditioned for the show, whatever. And then Matthew had a movie premiere in San Francisco, and I went with him, and this was like 2 months after we had wrapped Ezra. And we were like on a boat circling Alcatraz, and we were like, how stupid would it be if we like went into Alcatraz? Because like, what business do we have at Alcatraz? And then my friend was like, oh, it's supposed to be haunted. And we're like, oh, that's so dumb. Like, imagine if we went in there trying to find a ghost, like us, like Dumb and Dumber. Like, what the hell are we going to do in there? And I was like, oh, like there's something here. And at this point, I had been working with CBC on trying to get something going in the scripted department. And they had always been like working with them, I cannot put, they are the opposite of everything else that I think people think they are, where like they will throw every resource to give you the opportunity to create something to better the country's entertainment, better the country. Like, they have been absolutely great to work with, and they understand now, and being modern, more than anyone I've worked with in this country. It's just, I don't know what the concept behind CB, like I don't know where the other things come from, but in my experience, like they've been amazing to work with, and they want everything to feel fresh.
They want
and
what
new.
we're talking about, like Canadians to be showcasing and like creating exciting things for Canadian. Yeah, because like you look at BBC in the UK, like some of their best shows are BBC shows.
Yeah,
but it sounds like whoever's running it now, they are more interested in some new exciting stuff. And like,
they understand, like they are aware, but they really want to represent the country. And I think a part of doing that is, who are the people that live in it now? And so we pitched them a show where we were like, we're going to take Canadian actors from horror movies or horror television shows and put them in haunted houses and see if they can figure out if it's haunted. So it's kind of like the simple life where like Paris and Nicole should not be working a 9-to-5 job
as ghost hunters.
But but we're going to put them there and see if they can actually figure it out.
Right. So are you Paris and Nicole in this metaphor?
I want to be Paris, but I know I'm Nicole because I know that I'm the one who like just is like the shit disturber. Right. But yeah, so we pitched it. They got it. They're like, we want to promote Canadian talent. We want to promote Canada. We want to be, like, they were just amazing. And then, and what a different way to showcase the country. And like, because it's like the show has to set up history as to why we went to said place. So you are learning about Canada just in a really ditzy, fun way.
Yeah. And you're going to every province? Looking for haunted houses, or that's the plan?
Season 1, it was just Ontario. Season 2, we went across the country. I went to, I can't talk too much about what happened, but I went to British Columbia, the Yukon, which was amazing. I love it there. Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, and then the rest were Ontario.
Amazing, though. Like getting to see both coasts. I'm from BC, so I'm super biased. The ghost there must be the best ghost.
Yeah.
When I saw the what you were up to, I was like, proud jealous, because I'd been thinking about ghosts, like a similar thing for a YouTube channel once. I'm like, how funny would it be to have comedians like looking for ghosts? Because I think Alexa and I, and a couple times it's come up on this show even, we are both interested in ghosts. In some capacity.
I'm terrified, but I mean, I'm interested. Yeah, I'm horrified.
And I'm a skeptic. I'm a non-believer, but I want to believe, because then I'd be like, oh, there's an afterlife? That's amazing. Yeah. So it's like I'm rooting for a ghost. Actually, somebody was murdered in the room next to this room.
Don't. I forgot about that for a second.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
In our very humble studio.
Hold on. What do you mean?
Like this. So this is like, I don't know if we should say where. Well, anyway.
It used to be what it used to be. We can say
it used to be a strip club, and anyway. Well, yeah, I don't know 100% what happened.
Where we are now used to be the office of the strip club.
Yeah,
and the pole, like they had like the pole, and the strippers could enter from below. From like they could get on a riser and like
I love that. That's so kind.
Really, in the middle. And so this is where all the operations and the money went down. And I guess one night this room was different, obviously, and there was another room there attached, but the safe was in the other room. And somebody came in and murdered the like manager of the strip club and robbed the safe. And so people are scared. Some people say here that they are like that they've seen a ghost and stuff. And I've been here really late at night a million times. I've never seen anything. It's, it's a little spooky, but I'm like almost those nights, maybe I'm not rooting to see a ghost, even though like most of the time I would. But when you're here alone, that's maybe not the time you'd want to see it. But
wait, that's insane. That happened over there?
I'll show you on the way after we do the show. I'll show you the exact
And like,
thing.
I just want to say that the studio looks really nice, but outside in the hallway, it looks like a murder house.
It's just a graveyard. We do the show in a graveyard. This is like a little cabin in the woods.
I don't love that, but I love a creepy story.
A little creepy. So yeah, it's exactly. So in the back of my mind, I'm always like rooting for ghosts in a way. And I think Alexa's the opposite, where she's always hoping.
I do believe in them, but I'm really hoping I never see one ever.
You'd be perfect for ghosting. Everybody shows up and they're like, no.
I was in a black comedy horror.
We've
time.
As long as something scary happens, we qualify that as a tie-in. To
Perfect.
Devin Nakota, who was on Degrassi, I don't know how many episodes, but you don't remember her, but she was in the new Scream, like Scream 6.
Oh,
and
cool.
so she was in Ghosting as well. So, and then Kevin Alves was also in Degrassi, but you don't know who that is.
Oh my gosh.
But he was in Yellow Jackets and he was also on Ghosting.
Oh my gosh. You
He
just have
is
all of the
currently.
Degrassi cast on Ghost.
We have a few of them.
A couple of them.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of, like, who else is on it, but I can't remember who was from me, like, with everyone's resumes. Being like, okay.
And
So since you've been on the show, are you more of a believer, more of a skeptic? Has it moved the needle at all?
I think that it,
You haven't felt there's
has
no...
things happen that are weird? 100%. Am I afraid to go to sleep? No.
right. Okay.
No.
Fair.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is like when we're filming it, it's so
Safer because the cameraman, the mic person...
not even that. It's so chaotic. It's kind of the vibe because we don't know what we're doing. Like we've never been to these places. Like, yeah, we knew where we were going, but the guest has no idea where they were going, like at all. Like they don't know the city. They don't know nothing. A car shows up. They get them from their house and they do not
bag
know.
them.
They fly... You guys fly them to, like... Did someone have to fly to the Yukon to go see a ghost? Or do you find a local act?
No, they had to fly across the country.
car just puts it back on your head and you're like 4-hour flight.
They don't know. They know what like the major city that they're going to be flown into, but they have no idea where they're going.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so when we get there, it really is just like three idiots trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And so there's so much adrenaline of like, okay, where are we?
Do you tell any of the history of before going there or no?
They know nothing. As soon as we get there is when we go, surprise, and then we'll tell them what happened. But up until the point, they're like,
nothing.
they have no idea.
That's for the best. They
And
can't
for
be making
season-
stuff up in their head or something.
And for season 2, because of the whole like traveling the country thing, some people's reactions are it's so insane, and I can't wait for people to see that. But it's just like some people are just like, to your point, like they just are being like, oh my god, like if I knew this was gonna be what we were doing, like I wouldn't have agreed to do this.
I can't do it.
Amazing. That'd be you. You'd be
That
like,
would be me. I'd be like, I can't. We have to go.
yeah, even bringing up the ghost here, you're like, let's not talk about that today.
Nah.
No, it's so insane. It's insane.
And people can watch on CBC Gem.
CBC Gem, CBC proper on linear, and then season 1 is available on YouTube on CBC's account.
Amazing.
In Canada only.
Oh my gosh! You just fly to Canada and then you watch it here.
Luke will put a bag over your head, fly you to Canada.
Yes.
There's no ghost. It's
Yes.
just a laptop computer,
No.
and you have to watch 9 episodes.
No one's allowed to know.
So I have to ask:
Yeah.
do either of your stories today include any sort of ghosts?
Yes.
Oh,
I have
oh my
2
gosh!
stories, and they're both ghost stories.
Oh my gosh, they're both ghost stories.
It's a
This is the
tie-in.
Halloween episode, by the way, the unofficial Halloween episode. We were gonna dress up, but then Ian forgot to tell you we were gonna dress up. So
And
we're not dressing up.
we weren't sure if you'd be intimidated by our really good costumes if you showed up.
Wait.
And we were just...
What were going to be your costumes?
I was gonna be Marge Simpson.
Okay, I love that.
And I think I was just going to be a bunny.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
costume.
We blew it. 3 days
blew
before
it.
Halloween, this comes out, and we blew it.
I have like a little witch hat on my way out. I could have just grabbed that.
Oh no! I felt guilty
Oh.
enough that.
Yeah, we were like, well, that's not really fair to just be like an hour beforehand. Hey, and also we're dressing up. Come with a costume.
Little do you know the things that are in my house. And I think
He's good to go.
I think
We're like-
that's the real issue. I could have just dressed up as Ezra.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Vampire
You
show,
know, let's put teeth
Oh.
in.
ghost show. Of
Yeah.
course, Luke's got a whole call.
All
We
right,
have a-
call it. We're gonna refilm this.
Yeah, we'll see you in a year. Resume from now.
I have a bedazzled CBC Ghostbusters outfit.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Like you guys,
That is so.
you guys
we
really
brought the
dropped
Halloween
bag.
King. We never thought.
Wow, we
You
should have
guys-
just asked.
You guys
That's on
dropped
us.
the bag.
We should have just reached out. Oh, whatever.
Okay.
Just pretend we're in costume, guys.
I am in costume.
Yeah, me too.
I'm dressed as a man. Okay.
Okay.
How do we do this? What do I have to do?
Just like what you're doing.
Just what
Just
you're doing.
feel it. Feel it out.
Getting ready.
Get
We're
into your-
going into the first story here. Actually, before you get into it, how good of a liar do you think you are?
Really bad. Really bad.
Or is that a lie?
No. I'm one of those people that like, you know, your friends who like just cannot hide how they're feeling.
Yeah.
I'm that one.
Are you bad at getting gifts that you don't like? Let's say it's Christmas and you get a gift you don't like from grandma.
You know, like, I'm not.
It's on the face.
I want to like pretend that I'm like this like deceptive mastermind who can like figure out the world's secrets and like break barriers and like I know what really happened with like Da Vinci and like the Last Supper. Like I know what was going
You're
on.
Dan
there.
Brown or with
Yeah.
Tom Hanks in the Da Vinci Code? That's
Yeah,
what you like to think.
like
yeah.
I'm like I can figure out it all, but then someone's like, "Oh, I got this for you." I'm like,
Movie tickets.
dang, like, yeah,
Oh
like
no.
I can't even do it, but
Like, oh my God.
like I'm just you know. That's my weakness.
Okay.
Resting bitch face, but like in like disgust, where I'm like,
Resting disgusted face. It's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
happy.
Like-
but when you get a gift you love, do you hide? Like, do you?
oh yeah.
You're really happy then.
I'm like, oh my god.
So if it's a birthday party
You
and
can
everyone's
tell,
handing, everyone's
I
like, you're like,
know.
oh my god, thank you, oh my god.
I know, I hate it. I'm like I hate like being around. I hate it.
So you don't think you can fool us today on the show necessarily?
Well, luckily for you, we've been gaslit so much on this show that we can't tell it's real and
That's
it's fake
true.
anymore.
Well, I'm gonna go into this as like an actressing,
Perfect.
Mhm,
and so
mhm.
I feel like, within like the ghosting universe, I feel like you'll probably believe anything I say, anyways, because this is what I do now.
You guys are just gonna believe me.
Like spotted from HBO from 2D pictures to now. This is gonna be no problem.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? It's so hard being me.
So
Okay, so let me think about which one I want to. Does it? And I can start however I want to do
You can
this.
start
it's
however
totally
you
up to.
want,
We don't
yeah.
even know. I should go back and do the math to see like, do people more likely to tell the fake story first or the true story? We don't know. Anyway, whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling, and then we like ask questions after.
And we never, and then we always fight. And it looks like, and I feel like lately I've been on a bit of a run, but I think you guessed right last time.
That's not true. You have not been.
Well, I
I've
like to
been on the
rewrite
run.
history a little bit. I've won every
let's
time.
Run the cameras back. Run the tape back because I'm pretty sure I'm on the run.
One of our
Anyway.
listeners will have to go back and listen to everything and be like, he was lying.
Everything I say is a lie.
Okay. Oh,
The two lies. That could be a twist.
there you go.
We'd also be like, oh,
Everything-
that
It was
is.
like that's not the show.
Everything I say is true.
Whoa.
Are you believing it?
No, I don't believe that for a
Oh,
second.
okay. Okay, let's start by taking us back in time.
Ooh.
So, once upon a time, there was this family that moved from Scotland
Okay.
to what would then become Canada.
Mhm.
And they wanted to build a house. And the house was like for the richest people. They were like the richest people. They were like coal miners or something. They had like oil. It was oil.
Mm.
Oil. They had oil. They were like really rich. Okay. They're so rich.
They
we
had
love it.
oil.
And they had built this beautiful house. But this was like the 1800s. So
Mhm, mhm.
that's crucial information to the story.
Okay.
Okay. This comes back to play. And so the family, it's all happy. It's all fun. It's all vibes. We're rich. It's 1800s. The Titanic hasn't sank yet. This is great. And all of a sudden, their kids just start dying. And one of them even falls off the top of the stairs and cracks their neck and dies, to the point that all of these kids, these rich nepotism kids, are dead. So much that the tragedy keeps going
Mhm.
and going. But the family essentially like, we need to get rid of our really big, beautiful house because all of our family's dead. We're really depressed. We need to like go
We're
get help.
literally depressed.
We're going to
So-
downsize. All the kids are dying.
Well, like, what's the point of having
Like
this
in
big,
weird
beautiful
ways.
house? Just like in ways that whether it was illness or that weird stair accident, something was just going on in this house.
Right.
That everybody just kept dying.
Okay.
The house eventually, they left it. It became part of the government housing, where the government of Canada does like this heritage thing.
Right, heritage housing.
And they're like, oh my God, it's our house now. But the house something was always wrong with the house.
Right.
Something was always wrong with the house. And when we were filming the show, we went in, and one of our guests was a person of color, and they found that the ghost would never respond to them, to the point that the ghost was almost picking on them.
A racist ghost?
A racist ghost.
No!
Because this was built in the 1800s and these people were evil and their kids were dying. Okay, this is important.
Yeah, and they were for sure racist back then.
Yeah. Yes, everybody before.
Everybody
Before. People are so
family.
racist today.
I mean, yeah, these were.
Yeah, but this was like 1800s wicked times. Those are not Wicked the musical, like Wicked like bad.
Yeah, no,
Just
yes,
to be-
yeah.
Defying rabbit, like it's not that.
Popular.
To the point, exactly. But to the point, as we were filming, nothing was happening to me and Matthew. But the guest star, to the point that someone pulled on her hair and her head, like elastic, gets ripped out of her hair. You see it on camera, and she fully like, jolts backwards, and like you see her grab it, and it was the only time anything ever happened to her. And then when they went back after we left to check on the room that we were in, when they opened the door and the woman that worked there like walked in, the grandfather clock smashed into the ground and like smashed through it, because they believe that her being there pissed off the ghost so bad that it now became like physical and aggressive.
It
like
fell
that
forward.
thing that's in it, that like that dangling thing in the grandfather
Just
clock,
fell.
it fell and smashed through the wood, and it was and that
Through
had
the second
been there
floor.
since the 1800s into the floor.
Oh my gosh!
So they believe, and it was like the whole time we were there, that was happening.
So this was like a super racist ghost.
But the other thing was that we had our digital media person hiding in the closet in the room to try to scare the guest, because in case nothing happened. And the whole time, all of Matthew's ghost tools were like telling her, like, go open the closet, open the closet, open the closet. She alone has to go to the closet. This, not like as if the ghost knew somebody was in there to hurt her. To the point, like,
whoa! So you had someone hidden in that closet, and then like you weren't going to try and guide her there, but then this ghost started like telling her essentially, like, go in that closet where you two know there's someone there ready to start.
Everyone knew that there was someone in there. Like all of the crew knew,
and like she was getting this feeling. Like, was she hearing a voice? Like, what was making?
It was like this like light up boxing that Matthew has that like responds to specific questions, but like it'll hold answers. So it was at one point somebody was like, should she be alone? And then it was like, no. And then it was like Matthew was like, oh, something about the closet. And then it hadn't responded for like 5 minutes and just went off. And then it would also, again, it would never respond to her. It hated her. And while this was all happening, that's when her headband ripped open.
Oh my gosh.
And so anyways, it bullied her into opening the door. Lo and behold, the girl comes out screaming. And then the thing starts freaking the fuck out to the point that it didn't stop and we had to leave.
Wow.
And now the people who work there now believe that we pissed off the ghost so bad that it's now like,
well, they need to exorcise the place. Maybe bring some white sage or something.
well, they believe it might be one of the owners. So like he thinks it's his house and doesn't want like disrespectful people in it.
But he didn't hate you and Matthew.
No.
Well, by disrespectful, does he mean people of color?
Well, that's what I think. That was the only. I was like,
Whoa! Cancelled.
so that was the big crazy kooks.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one.
What city was that in? If you're
what
able to
city
say,
was
unless
that
you maybe can't say if it hasn't aired yet.
No, this is aired. I feel like I could probably just say it, but this was. Have you seen the show?
Not yet.
Have you seen the trailer?
No, I haven't.
This was in. I mean, I guess I could say it here. This was Devin Nakota's episode.
Okay.
So it was in Baden, Ontario, at this like beautiful like Italian house, but it was like very, 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 very like everyone's like, this is haunted. This is haunted. This is like something
This
is
place
wrong
is for sure.
with this house.
So as a skeptic, you said you were a skeptic. You don't really believe in ghosts. Did this make you go, okay, well, this
I was shitting myself. Like because the thing is that with those stupid tools, it's like they either work or they don't. And so it's always like clap your hands if you want to possess me or whatever, something stupid. And like they'll always do something, but it was the fact that it never responded to her.
Yeah.
It only responded to me and Matthew, and it only responded to things that would harm her.
Right. Yikes.
I hate
and then the
that.
headband thing. So it, like her hair, like it fell off her.
Like she had her hair like in pigtails, and the one just snaps out, and you hear the snap. And we didn't notice it when we were filming, and she brought it up later, but you see the snap in, like on the camera. You see her pull, and you see the thing come out. And she was like, I feel like something's touching
there's
me.
no
right
crew member
before.
who runs by
No.
dressed in like a green screen suit, rips it off or something.
No.
Wow.
I wish that.
That's
I wish we
crazy.
had the
How
budget
many
for that.
people like
Yeah, the budget.
are in the house with you when you're filming? Like roughly.
300 or 400.
5,000. If you include the ghosts, it's endless.
Whoa, true.
Ooh.
It's our crew is like 15 people.
Okay.
Do you find that would make it slightly less freaky? Like, do you think if you were alone in one of these houses, like maybe the scariest one that you've ever been to, if you went back there alone, it would be scarier?
No, like even the crew, like one of the cameras in the show is like a high wide of the room, and you'll see them freak out like as they're filming.
Wow.
They're
Oh,
like,
you guys show the crew sometimes.
yeah,
Oh,
because we're
cool.
like they're there, like we can't get around it,
Yeah.
but they're like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow,
Well, even,
that's really
like,
scary then.
The person who was hiding in the closet, like big props to them. You could not pay me to do that.
Well, the worst part is they were in the closet for an hour because we thought it was going to be like, an in and out situation. So they had to wait an hour. For
in a pitch black 200-year-old house in the closet. Oh my God. Imagine you feel something in your neck or something. Even doing this right now.
Well,
I would leave the closet. I'm like, that's it. I don't care. It's fine.
Imagine hearing it like, oh, do you want to hurt her? Do you want to hurt her? And it's like, ding, 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 ding. Do you want to kill me, Matthew?
I do like that this ghost is 200 years old, not homophobic. Hates people
Well,
of
we have
color.
some of those, but
You do? You've seen that too?
No way! I love that these ghosts bring their problematic into
Yeah.
the spirit realm.
Wow.
Well, I don't love it. I mean, obviously it's bad.
So
But
there's been
of
a-
all the things to bring along,
Yeah, at least
eternal homophobia.
yeah.
We need to
Well,
get
no
them some
wonder you
hoes,
haven't
like,
passed on.
go to some condos or something where recent modern people have died. So there's no problematic ghosts in
It's
here.
like a
just
Ouija
creepy.
board, just like, yes.
Yeah, do you want a venti latte? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Okay.
thing is, whether or not that's a true story, technically, we could go back, or maybe he's trying to trick us. He said this was an episode, so maybe like parts of it are a lie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, so you have to decide now?
No, no,
we just poke
need
a
to add
couple
some
holes. We try to
questions.
throw you off your game a little bit, you know?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we like to throw some curveballs.
Okay.
Okay, so she had her hair in pigtails. How many floors was the house?
Holy crap. You never know with these weird old
Yeah,
It could be a
right.
basement.
I don't think there.
Could be an
Yeah,
attic.
I think there was a basement. I think there was a main floor.
Where did
I-
all this go down? Was it on like a bedroom?
This was
floor?
in the last girl who lived there, the daughter before she died. It was her bedroom, and there was a
Oh.
painting of her still in the room that was there like 200 years ago.
Oh
Like,
my-
they never took the painting off the wall.
Oh my God!
I
Did you see
hated that. I hated
What
that.
was
Okay, for
happened?
those of you who didn't see, obviously on the camera, maybe in the wide you'll have seen it, but the light, I don't think you would have saw it. The
Did it
light,
flicker?
that a little bit of the light just came off.
It's the demon. It's with me right now.
Oh my
my
gosh.
God.
I love this. This is maybe the day that I become not a skeptic. I don't know, but so far, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
you know what? And hilariously, Ian has had ghost experiences. I have not, but I'm the believer and he's the skeptic.
It's
Wait,
true.
what happened to you?
Well,
We'll get into that later. This isn't your
okay,
episode.
after
Ian.
maybe I'll tell it after you tell your second story. If we
Okay.
want for a bonus story, I could tell that. This isn't
Okay.
your episode, Ian. You're just the co-host. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
Okay, I don't really have too many. I asked all the questions I like about the crew and
Yeah, I think I'm
everything
good to
that
move to the second
I'm
one.
good. I want to hear another ghost story.
And
I
then we
actually
might go
love
back
ghost
and ask
stories.
a couple and then see if
Yeah.
we can figure it out.
Just keep telling ghost stories.
No, okay. I'm gonna do another one from the show.
Okay. yay.
So, okay, so a part
so
of
nervous.
a part of ghosting is like we never do the same thing twice. Like the objective is to never go to the same. It's like we'll go to a house or we'll go to a jail or we'll go to like a courthouse or we'll go to like a museum. Like we don't do the same thing twice.
Have you been to Alcatraz yet?
It has to be in Canada, Diva.
Right.
What about
Love San Francisco.
Black Creek Village or what is that?
So actually, hot take: Black Creek, same thing as Casa Loma, was built more recent than later.
Right.
So it's not actually old. Also, we filmed Ezra there. I don't know.
At Casa Loma?
No, at Black Creek.
Oh, no, I don't think that. I think mine was, we were downtown.
No,
We
we're
were Queen
Cameron
Street.
House or
Yeah,
something.
Cameron House, exactly.
Yeah. But so that place to me, I'm like, girl, there's nothing there but trauma for me.
Yeah.
Like, no. But one of the things that we were looking for was like places that like had a big, large, like paranormal allegation or something. And there was this place, Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yes.
And it's the only place in the entire country that's had an exorcism performed on it.
No.
Yes.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Like Ripley's Believe It or Not, but you have to
not. He said,
Oh.
he said,
no, but
not
Ripley's
at-
Believe It or Not, like you can believe me or not.
Oh.
But imagine it's the aquarium in Down Under.
I know. I'm
It's-
like, no.
The jellyfish exhibit.
Yeah, that was it. It was possessed.
Yeah.
No, we found this place. It was like a cabin.
Yeah.
Like 200 years old. And literally, it's the only place in the history of Canada that ever had an exorcism performed on it. So we were like, gag city. Like, gag city. I was like,
We have to go there.
no, I was like, okay, if anything is going to happen, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, whatever. So then we go, whatever the fuck. We get there, we're filming. And part of, I guess I should probably go through everything else. Okay, so then part of, basically, the reason why I had an exorcism was because, again, this thing happened where like settlers would like move to like Canada, but they would like fit like 20 people in a cabin. And it was just like,
I don't know why they did that.
I don't know. It was like this weird thing. 'Cause I was like,
or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, maybe it was just like resource because they like had no money. But I was like, this is crazy. But one of the people at the time that lived in the cabin was like a nurse.
Okay.
And so she had moved with her family, whatever. I don't know where the family came from somewhere. But she was a nurse, whatever. And her mom got her like a doll. Okay.
Oh,
Remember this for later. the
I
doll.
literally have shivers.
Okay. And so the doll, she's like vibing with the doll. I just kicked this entire table. It was the ghost.
That was not the ghost this time.
So the doll is like vibing. And in this place, they're like, the doll comes in this place, they're like, whatever. Then the girl who's the nurse, they start reporting like something, they like hear like almost like there's a kid, but like there's no more kids here, but they keep hearing like kids playing around outside, to the point that she has some like I don't know, it's like a vision or something. It's like some sort of like thing came
She's
to her.
doing a That's So Raven.
That's so Raven, if you will, where she
Yeah.
was like, I hear something. And at the time, her other friend, who was also a nurse, was like, oh, like maybe this is some spirit. And again, this is like the 1800s. You have to like really like take everything like a grain of salt. Like they didn't know what the hell they're talking about. But
They didn't even have TikTok, these guys.
they had no iPod shuffles,
No,
No, I bet
books,
no Keurigs.
Yeah.
Like it was hard. It was
were-
hard for them
yeah.
back then. They were like, you couldn't even just buy butter. You had to like churn it yourself.
To
Yeah.
make it. I don't know. Who's got the time?
They're eating grass or something.
Like they couldn't do it. So the roommate's like, whatever. Then they find out that where the cabin thingy mabobber was, there was a little girl who passed away. And so then one of the nurses, not the one who owns it all, but her friend was like, maybe this is the ghost of this little girl that you keep hearing because she like died like down the street. And the girl was like, no way, Jose. But then she was like, okay, well, what if I give this doll? I'm like, if you are here, little girl, like you can live in this doll. We can all be friends together. Yes.
You're never supposed to do that.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Haven't they watched any ghost movies?
No, literally. And the other
Fools.
thing was, even in the other story, there was a doll in that bedroom as well. Like, I was like, we can't escape the dolls. But me, when I like see like gorgeous people, I'm like, can't escape the dolls. But anyway, so that all happens. And then essentially, whole thing happens where the doll essentially starts like moving across the house, and to the point that one of the girls was like, oh, I feel as if it's not this girl, to the point that they're like reporting to like the mother, like, oh, I think we need to bring the doll back, like we kind of screwed up. And they tried to like throw it away, and it came back in the house. Like no one knows how it got back in the house. And so whatever. And then they had to call like the it wasn't the magistrate, but whatever, like the person that was like the governor of the town.
Okay.
But this was
not
like
the mayor?
No, this was before like mayors existed, because like Canada wasn't like a country.
Okay.
Like a
I'm
sure.
sheriff
not-
or something?
I'm pretty sure it's a
Whatever.
magistrate.
Okay,
The
whoever's
person
in
who is
charge.
like, I'm God and the government of the
Okay.
town. I'm like the hybrid, the Tesla, if you
Gotcha.
will,
The Tesla.
of these two titles.
I want that job.
Magistrate?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Go period.
Yeah.
Sounds like a wizard.
No, like, I think they thought they were. But they show up and then they... Anyways, okay, so yeah, they come up to help the nun people, the nurses, not the nuns.
Mhm.
And he takes a doll with them on the way home and dies.
Oh.
Then they go back. So the doll ends up back at the house. And they're like... Or the
Wait, they
cabin.
brought the doll back or just showed up?
No, it just
somehow
showed up.
ends up back at the house. They have no idea how. And then that's when they were like, oh, something evil is here, something evil is here, something evil is here. And literally to the point that they had to get like these other like spiritualists to come in and literally get like I don't know how it worked. Like the church was like, hey, sister, called their sister friend of the other church who like got the Pope involved.
Oh my
Because the
gosh.
Pope had to like authorize someone to like use
Whoa.
the power of God. I don't know. The power of God to like go exorcise this house. Because they're like,
Yeah.
something is wrong. And people were like, oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Like these paranormal people that ended up getting hired by the nuns or the nurses. Sorry, we did nuns on this other episode. I cannot. Katie's episode. We went to a convent.
Oh my god.
So anyways, they come, they exorcise the house. But before they exorcise the house, they find a letter in the house that's like, I can't remember what it said, but it was like pain or something. And
It just said pain.
it was like
It looked like your Facebook status in 2012.
yes. I think you wrote it. You were there, right?
God.
Yeah.
This entity is going through its emo phase. Its
Yeah.
queen phase.
It's
But
like
its
3
hair
days.
looked amazing.
It's like, oh, I'm in pain.
It's like 3 days grace. It's like pain without love. And that was the last thing they found. And then they were like, the doll wrote it. No one was like, whatever. And they knew like if they did not get rid of it now, they were going to die. And so they come, they exercise the cabin thing, and they get rid of the doll. They literally locked the doll in like this like safe thingamabobber, which is why we all had to go there. But it was literally to the point that original man who died, they don't know what happened or whose soul got into what, but they ended up finding out that the soul in the doll was not the little girl and it was a demon.
Yeah.
That tricked the nurses, that got into the whole situation. And then when we were filming, and this was with Kevin, all that, like this was the cabin.
Annabelle. What's that other doll?
Annabelle?
A bet.
Annabelle?
Annabeth?
Chucky? No.
Annabelle?
Chucky?
Annabeth? Or what something?
Annabeth.
I know.
Annabeth.
Annabeth.
Now that's a doll I need to talk to, Miss Annabeth.
But yeah, that one is another one, like kind of the same thing.
Megan?
No, like it was in like Amityville Horror. It's like that really famous doll. Like same thing, kind of like they thought that
I think that was Annabelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all of them sound like Annabelle. All of
Yeah.
these, as soon as there's a doll, it's
I feel
always
like
like
it's
this.
Bit of
always the
advice,
same.
if you have a doll, don't name it something creepy.
Don't name
Just-
something creepy, and if you hear some shit, don't let them use the doll as anything. In fact, be cleansing your space.
Just don't have a
somehow.
doll. How
Don't
about
get
that?
any dolls.
Just don't
They're done.
have a doll.
Unless it's Barbie.
Oh, well, lucky for you, we have Mattel coming in today.
Oh my
Mattel,
God,
bring him
Mattel!
But yeah, so then when we were filming with all of this jazz, we had Matthew's thing going off, and as it was going off, it like knew Kevin's birthday and knew his favorite song. It knew where he grew up, and it was all of these things to the point that it was like. And again, at the time, we were like, whatever, and we were like trying to like fuck with this because we were like, oh, this is
Trying to make good TV.
we're trying to make good TV, but we were also like, the history of this place is so good
Mm-hmm.
that like exercise, whatever, like if you Google like places in Canada that have like a exorcism, like this is the thing. And so we were like, oh my God, it's so puss, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're doing it.
Sorry. The ghost story versus it's so puss.
This
we
is-
have to go here. I love it.
But then as we're literally filming and like, oh, it's going off, we go, and again, like this cabin is like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah.
Like it's not structurally sound.
Yeah.
And so this thing comes in, and then to the point that Matthew's like, we're on like the second level, and it's
wow,
like,
two-story.
I know,
Amazing.
and it's like not safe.
Yeah.
And so the floorboards are like, when you think of like panel panel of wood. It's a
like
panel
pallets or
Yeah.
something. Like this, like these, but spaces.
But yeah, like you could pick it up and move. Like
right.
it should
Oh
not.
my God.
Like it was not sound.
They did not have any nails back then.
Forget fear of ghosts. I'm scared of heights.
Like I was literally like this. I was like, can we be on this?
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm like crawling around pretending to like be a ghost. Anyways, I was like, we're gonna die. Long story short, because it was like 200 years old.
Yeah.
But as we're asking the questions and answering the questions, the fucking and Kevin's like whatever. It's like knows all these things about him that like we didn't even know because we had just met him. And so Matthew goes like, oh my God, he was like, oh, if you know whatever about Kevin, do you know anything about me or something? And then it stopped answering, and then it just like we had candles going like around us, and one of the candles blew out. And then Matthew was like, what the fuck was going on? And then it was doing the thing where like it was responding to Kevin to the point that every time Matthew would ask, it would not respond. And then when Matthew, and then we were like, okay, like we're getting to close to the end here, like we need to wrap out. Me in typical fashion, I'm like, oh my God, do you want to kill us or whatever? And it's like, yeah. And then Matthew,
oh, that's something to gloss over. And it was like, yeah, anyway.
good TV. Do you want me to die? Like, you're here to see if I get possessed. That's really what you're here to watch. But Matthew stood up, and on like this box thing that has like words, like it'll be like October, dog, you, like it'll just say like random words.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally was like, get out. And then Matthew stood up and the wood panel flew up with the nail and it went into his arm.
What? So it actually got cut on camera. Like blood.
It went into him. It wasn't like blood. It was like a little bit of blood, but
still,
yeah,
rusty nail.
Like it like stood up and the thing bent.
Wow,
out.
this
Like in a
thing
cartoon
was like tinnitus for you.
Yeah, literally was like that because
Oh
the
my
things were
God.
so like unstable that I don't know, but he had stood up and the thing like popped and you heard it pop. You just saw like
Oh my God! And did you guys? Did you see the doll? Did you like take
no,
it
the
out?
doll is like in like witness protection.
Right, in the
Damn.
Pope's base in the Vatican basement or something.
I have no idea where said doll is.
Why didn't they destroy the doll?
They might have.
Yeah, okay.
I have no idea what happened. But the logic was like some people believe that the exorcism worked, some people believe it didn't. And so they were like, oh, like if you take the doll out, it doesn't mean that the entity that was there prior
Is even there.
Like you exorcise it from the doll, not from the space.
Right. So the doll is like, it's
Whatever
no
the
longer
hell
the
was
doll,
in.
but now it's in the space.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then when we were like, I just remember like Kevin's face and he was just like, and we were all like, and Matthew was obviously like screaming, but he was fine.
And Matthew believes in ghosts.
Yes. But it was like, it said get out, and then this thing was so, woof! And it's like,
Well, if he didn't before, he does now.
Yeah.
it was just insane.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. And
Causing bodily harm.
yeah. I literally was like, it was insane. It was insane. But that was another episode.
And is that episode out, or is that
Yeah.
that one? So they can watch that on CBC Gem.
Mm-hmm. It's called The McDonald Log Cabin with Calvin Alves.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was in Alliston, Ontario.
Spooky. Oh my gosh. Okay.
No, it was like, being there, I was like,
Do you ever like bring things that you feel like for protection? Like, do
No.
you ever wear like, no,
Can of Mace.
can of
No.
mace, ready whenever.
I like bringing like things that will piss them off.
Okay. Cool.
Like one of the
Ghostbusters 2 on DVD.
yeah,
Just in the back
literally
pocket.
that. One of the episodes I wore a wig to try to fuck the ghost. One of them we had like one of them was a magistrate, and so like those like stocks you'd put people in.
Oh yeah, like
We-
the things like
Yeah.
in Quasimodo.
Yeah, so we
Was it
rent
the same magistrate, different
well
magistrate?
different guy. No, this was like
Yeah,
his
okay.
house.
Oh,
But
okay.
we brought stocks to the house and all put ourselves in them to see if he would show himself. 'cause
Yeah.
he like got off on like punishing people.
Oh, okay.
Didn't work. Well, maybe I don't remember. what
There's
it
going to be a new show, not like Ezra, but essentially same thing, except you're a ghost this
Yeah.
time.
Because
Yeah.
he'll have got murdered by a
New
real ghost
scene.
Yeah.
during ghosting.
was.
by the sounds of
I
it.
would love to get murdered by a ghost.
It'd be great. CBC would be very happy. They'd be sad that they lost one of their
Yeah.
But
leads.
they'd be like, this is the best episode we've
This is
ever
good TV,
had.
and now we don't got to
Quality
pay him.
television. Oh, they'd be like the ratings are through the roof.
Woo!
Yeah, no,
Wow.
insane.
Wow.
it was literally fucked.
So interesting. So then one of those maybe didn't happen, or some things
I
are
like
alive
want them
from it.
both to be true.
Just love pain and suffering.
I'm like, oh, I want both the ghost stories to be true. Okay. Questions. You go first, Ian. Me, when I can't think of a question, I'm like, you go first.
Me to Matthew. I'm like, Matthew has something he wants to say to you.
Yeah, you.
So, were either of these guests that were on the show, or let's say in story 2,
Okay.
you said Kevin,
Mhm.
did they believe in ghosts before this?
No.
Did they believe in ghosts after?
They give like a verdict in the show, and I think his was like, I don't think so, but something was there.
Like seeing a
like that. He
floorboard
was like the
hit
second
him.
floor. Something was there.
Right.
But
Oh
then
my
people say
God.
things because they're on camera. I'm like, I don't know.
Right. It's hard to know the
Yeah.
truth. Just like this. Like, what's
Like
what
nothing
are we
can happen.
really-
Everyone's like, it's haunted. It's so scary. I'm like, nothing happened. They're
Right.
like, did you see the floor? Like, did you see
They're
the
like,
wall?
it's the vibe.
Right. It's like, yeah.
I'm like, girl, we ate cotton candy and braided each other's hair.
And are you pretty honest about it? If you don't feel anything and you're like, there's nothing here.
Yeah, like the only time, well, like the only real times I ever like said anything was in these circumstances, because I was like, when you watch like the playback with Devin's thing, like it was, you couldn't, there's no getting around it. I didn't even want the thing saying like get out or whatever. I was like, I don't necessarily know if these are haunted, but something is definitely, I could
I feel
understand.
like that's what haunted is.
but then this is where me and Matthew get into a
Okay,
brawl.
okay.
Because I feel like most people associate the word haunted with like scary, ghost, don't go
Like
there.
seeing an apparition or
Right.
seeing something
Yes.
floating.
But then Matthew Finland will go, the Webster Dictionary definition is a place frequented by ghosts. And I'm like, okay, but that's such a general, and that is literally the definition, but that's such a general version where I'm like, I think everywhere, by that version, I'm like, you could argue everything is haunted.
It's just a airport for ghosts, just passing
yeah,
through for a
but
second.
I'm like, oh, it's haunted. Like there is, beyond a reasonable doubt, some otherworldly entity that is there. That every time you go there, like something happens.
But do you believe in that?
I believe in that. That's my definition of the word haunted.
Okay, well said.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have I again? Like I've seen these things are like, I'm like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
like both of
But
these things today, even.
my thing is more like everyone's like, oh my god, like, and I'm like, they're not. That didn't happen.
When the tape fell above us, did that make you a believer?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
I had my fingers crossed and I said, it's
Just
finally happening.
as long as these lights don't crush my head right now.
I love Final Destination.
If someone dies on our show, that's great for our ratings, honestly.
Okay. And that's the end of that conversation.
I can be the first.
What do you think? Which one do you think? Do you got any more questions?
I don't know. I don't have any more questions. I'm trying to decide which one is true and which one is false.
I think, should I start it off?
Yeah, you go.
I think the first one might be a lie, but I actually think that maybe that headband, I think parts of it are true, but then I think he like maybe made up some other stuff or stole some other stuff. I don't
Also,
know.
now you're calling me a liar.
What?
Wow.
Okay, maybe I'll just be contrarian because I honestly can't decide. Oh, but I do.
Which one do you hope is true?
I don't know. I think it's kind of like hilarious that there is a racist ghost. Like, that's such a ridiculous concept to me. Okay, I'll say the first one is true because that's so ridiculous. It actually might be true. That's because obviously this ghost has just like taken this hatred with them into the next life.
And the second one, the floorboard hitting the possessed doll.
Maybe there's like some elements stolen there or something.
Maybe you stole that
I
from a Chucky or Annabelle movie.
I love Chucky.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
that's
nice.
my final. Okay, so audience, decide. Tell your family member. Tell the ghost who haunts your house. Tell your friend. Just say it out loud. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment down below which you think is true and which you think is stolen. And now for the big reveal. I should probably like put the sound effects in there at some point. Anyway.
Okay, so
Let us
you're
know.
saying the first one, you're saying the second one.
I'm saying the first one is true, and he's saying the first one is fake.
Yes.
Or
Got it.
stolen, sorry.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, well, I'm here to tell you that the first one's true. And the second one is the plot of Annabelle.
Oh my god. I even like was like, maybe he stole that.
When you said it, I was like, fuck. I was like, Annabeth. I was like,
Who is that?
Oh my
Literally
gosh.
the plot of Annabeth.
Amazing.
We ate out of his hand.
I ate out of that shit. I was like, wow, I guess this doll shit happens a lot.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a full lie because we did film with Kevin Alves and it was at a cabin, but I was like, this is the plotline of Annabelle. None of the things I said happened.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So the hair that
Yeah, it's all in the episode. You literally see the whole thing happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was
oh my
literally insane.
gosh.
Yeah.
Where was that one?
Castle Killbride in Baden, Ontario.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And I have to pee, so you're gonna have to come to the bathroom with me, Ian, and like stand out there because I'm scared now.
Okay. Okay, so amazing. Well, Luke, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was like actually so spooky. This is the perfect Halloween episode. Thank you so much.
And I feel like I'm like gonna go watch on CBC Gem Ghosting because I have to now see this.
I know I have to. What's the episode called again?
Devon's, it's Castle Killbride. I can't remember what episode number it is.
Okay.
But it's Devon and Coda.
And season 2 is premiering this week or just premiering?
Season 2 comes out next year.
Next year.
Okay,
Okay,
and then you just wrapped up season 1 just now.
No, season 1 came out in January.
Oh my God.
We already filmed season 2.
Oh my God.
So season 2 comes out next year. But I cannot tell you anything that happens in season 2. You have to watch.
Just have to watch. And where can our audience find you and follow you?
You can check me out on government.ca/parole.
Yeah, the Actra website, I think.
Yes. Just my Instagram is Luke Hutchie, and that's really just who I am.
And that's all there is to that.
And Luke,
story.
one last question.
Yeah.
What was scarier, everything you've seen on Ghosting or having to act with me for 5 minutes?
The pause.
Ghosting.
Yeah, good answer.
That was one of my favorite days of the whole show.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
He says that to every podcast.
No, the rest of the show was exactly low budget Canadian show.
Yeah.
We were fighting wars.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Thanks for coming on. And thank you so much for watching another episode of Steele My Story. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, follow, leave us a comment. It really, really helps our show. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Steele My Story Podcasts. We'll see you next week. Bye.